There were tense exchanges today as defendant Gillian Balban was cross-examined by Christian Roca KC, acting for the Crown. At one point, the defendant's lawyer said Mr. Roca was harassing Ms. Balban. The 51-year-old is accused of accumulating €600,000 worth of IOUs and covering up a £2 million hole in Natwest Bank's Corral Road cash reserves, resulting in an alleged £2.7 million loss to the bank. Today was the Crown's first chance to put some of these accusations directly to the defendant. Mr. Roca presented an email where Ms. Balban asked the cashier to prepare a total of £6,000 and over €8,000 in some 8 envelopes. Ms. Balban confirmed she may have asked for these to cover the wages of employees at her former restaurant Casa Brachetto, and that this would have been debited from the restaurant's accounts. But when presented with those accounts, she confirmed she could not see a corresponding transaction. She maintains a £2 million discrepancy in the bank's cash reserves is due to a software migration issue, and that it was not considered an issue as there was no loss to the bank. She described migration problems as common and said this one simply could not be recalled by other senior members of staff, but that this wasn't because they didn't know about it. She stressed throughout her evidence that part of the reason she could not give more details was because she hadn't been given access to her emails. The Crown pressed her on how and why Natwest Bank would decide to address the issue by having Gillian Balban and the cashiers scribble £2 million to balance every day. She repeatedly said she could not recall who took the decision to begin adding this amount to balance the books for the cash reserves, but that it was not her. The defendant was accused of sending erroneous returns to the Financial Services Commission on behalf of Natwest Gibraltar, signed off by herself and another colleague. It was put to Ms. Balban over €500,000 had been deposited in cash into her account over a 5-year period, outside of what her salary and that of her husband would cover. She said several times she did not agree with those figures. The Crown shared emails showing that days before she left Natwest on redundancy, she increased the insurance cover on Corral Road cash reserves from £2 to £5 million. She explained this would have been signed off by someone outside of Gibraltar and that it was a prudent decision. Christian Roca put to her she did this, as well as take her IOU slips and leave a memo explaining the £2 million issue just days before leaving the bank, before she could get caught out. Ms. Balban said there were no outstanding debit slips, the memo was already there, and the insurance was simply up for renewal. The Crown will continue cross-examination tomorrow.